Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds, hang out with these nerds.
Nate the Nerdarch.
Nerdarch is Ted.
Today we have a question that we pose. Did this GM use this monster wrong, or is it just built badly?
Jump down the description below where you can sign up for Nerdarchy the newsletter, get weekly gaming tips, as well as learn how to game with us.
Oh no, Nerdarchy has books and papers in front of us.
Looks like we're going to do something for gaming.
So I guess this video is about, what do we got here? The Rakshasa?
Rakshasa.
Rakshasa.
At least that's how I'm pronouncing it.
I'm going to go with that. I think you're right.
Or Rakshasa?
But the Rakshasa, so a question came up in one of the Facebook groups going like, this monster's kind of lame and weak. I'm paraphrasing. For its CR, they're like...
CR 13.
Like, they don't really have that many great abilities, and once you have to fight it, they're just a bruiser.
Okay, so you want me to read the quote?
Yeah.
It's just now occurred to me how blatantly ineffectual a Rakshasa is as a boss if it doesn't have some pretty strong magical items it can use to fight or some strong minions. Aside from dominate person, all it can really do in a fight is use its claws, which allow it to do an average of 18 damage per round. It's a CR 13 monster. Most of its difficulty goes into its defense against magic, it seems. Anyone have any particular idea on how they could make fighting one more interesting? I know they can use charm and deception and cunning, more so than brute force, but what if they're cornered?
So, first of all, the mention of if it doesn't have minions or strong magic items, okay? It's not really a boss without minions, right? You're just a guy at that point.
Yeah, it's a guy in a shop or something.
Yeah, that would be like me having a company and be like, I'm the boss, but and I have no employees. I'm just the boss of me.
Right, well, I want to jump all the way to the end. What if it's cornered? Well, it does have this thing called invisibility, fly, plane shift. It doesn't get cornered.
Yeah.
This thing is not designed for that.
The only reason it stays to fight is because it thinks it pretty much knows it can win.
And the other thing is, with this monster in particular, it has really strong defensive capabilities. Spellcasters are virtually useless against it. 6th level or lower spells just don't work. The other ones, it has magic resistance against, so it gets advantage on those saving throws.
So 7th, 8th, and 9th level spells.
Yes.
And it's a CR 13. So you're probably... I mean, who's going to fight this and be able to cast 7th, 8th, and 9th level spells? It's kind of like weird.
Yeah, at that point, this isn't a boss monster anymore for someone who'd be able to cast those spells. And even still, it's only your very most powerful spells that can actually still affect it.
And you don't get a lot of those.
It is one of the few creatures in the monster manual that flat out has immunity to non-magic weapons. Not resistance.
Immunity.
Immunity. If you don't have a magic weapon, you just can't touch it. So to me, this thing in melee is still a beast. Sure, it can only attack and dominate your friends and suggest them and charm them and use them against you. But, all by itself, it's pretty impressive. If you're not of high enough level to have magic items or magic weapons, or what if you play in a game where there isn't a lot of magic weapons? If you're a druid, you drew a wild shape could still affect it at 5th and a monk at 5th. But I would be using charm person, suggestion, and dominate person
on the people that could actually affect you.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That leaves your spellcasters. The only thing they can do is try to maybe buff their allies if they have those spells selected.
Now, all of this is related to specifically using it in combat once you've gotten to it. But you have to do your homework when it comes to dealing with these guys. You don't just throw a Rakshasa in there as a chance encounter. This is something where they've been ingrained in the plots that are going on. These guys are fiends. They are on the material plane to cause torment, pain, suffering, and death to mortals.
And eat people.
And, of course, to eat people. That's what they're there for. So they're going to know who these adventurers are because they are growing in power through their territory as they would see them. They're going to be someone of influence, whether it be a rich merchant, powerful noble. They might even have taken over the kingship through manipulation. They're not sitting on the throne because that's more work than they want to do. But they've got the king's ear and they're manipulating things that are going on because that's where these guys get to. That's what these guys are for. So you have layers and layers of plots, of minions, and information that's all trickling back to this guy before any possible fight is going to actually happen. They're going to know the party strengths. They're going to know the weaknesses just based off of how they act.
So I'm going to say, kind of just like an overview, we're all kind of at a shock level. Like, of course, this is an amazing monster that's really tough. But I guess perhaps the person's coming from the direction of, oh, it's the end of a dungeon, or it's the end of like several different kind of like mob fights. I want to put a Rakshasa in, and I want to add these guys in there too. But that's not the best. Yeah, they're good at defense, and they've got a lot of great things for them, and I still think they're a tough fight. But yes, compared to other monsters of that caliber, there's probably cooler things to throw in. But that's not the way you'd use a Rakshasa anyway. I don't want to say you're using it wrong, but it's kind of like you could have an entire section of quests, like 5 or 6 5-hour-long campaign sessions, and the Rakshasa is the reason they all occurred. He had a hand in everything. He is a boss in the sense of the end of a story arc boss, not the end of like a dungeon room or something.
They're they're manipulators, they're masterminds.
Yeah.
That's their role. The problem isn't the monsters, built poorly. It's the problem is you're building an encounter poorly, which is fine. Like, we all start somewhere, and you have to figure these things out. But yeah, if you use the wrong monsters for the wrong encounters, sure, it's never going to go well on multiple routes. Whether it's too easy for the party, too hard for the party, kills the party, or it just doesn't make sense. But it comes down to using the right monster for the right situation. But if you want to use every monster, and every monster is going to be just a hammer to cudgel, to bludgeon and cudgel your players with, yeah, it's not a good monster then.
Yeah, if you have a, let's say, a 12th level party, and they have magical weapons, and they somehow get the jump on a Rakshasa, they can take it down. 110 hit points is not hard to do in a single round of damage, especially if you have a rogue who surprises and gets the sneak off. You get the fighter or the barbarian to womp some damage. It's easy to do that much damage if you have the magic weapons to set it up. So it's about, if you're going to use this type of monster, as you said, Dave, the encounter has to be built properly, which requires far more pregame.
Now, that being said, if my players did things that were incredibly clever and had lots of good ideas, and they were able to bypass all that somehow and get the drop, I would allow it, and it would make for a week, but they would have to have done some extraordinary stuff to get to that point. Just because these are also, like you said, these are fiends. They're very intelligent monsters. They've been around a long time. Like, the idea of coming up with plans that, they hadn't thought of is going to be difficult, in my opinion, unless it's like Looney Tunes crazy where no one would have thought of that.
Like, not even maniacs would do this. I don't have to worry about that scenario.
So now the thing you have to take into account is, beings these guys are fiends. If you kill them, they just go back to the lower planes. They begin reforming their body, which could take days or years, possibly beyond the generation, growth of your race. But they're going to be back. You literally have to travel to the plains and kill their body there in order to stop them from doing such. So you're not talking about something that just goes away easily. And if they do die on the mortal plane, they are coming back for you. If you're dead, they will seek out your friends. They will seek out your family.
The next generation and the generation after that.
They will be back. You don't want to kill a Rakshasa.
Well, maybe you do, but you don't really want to get on their bad side.
Yeah. You want plausible deniability when it comes back in 100 years to mess with you.
Have a scapegoat for sure.
He did it.
Yeah. Remember that? Yeah. I was in a disguise. He didn't see me at the time.
Clearly, it was the elf.
I was dead at the time. It couldn't have been me.
So the question is, I would love to hear your stories of GMs that have used monsters really badly in your games, or maybe you were that GM and it was your early days of crafting adventures and you went horribly wrong with your monster. I'd love to hear those stories. We got a place for it down in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Honestly, I think we were all that GM at one point. You can check out our articles over at nerdarchy.com.
Or you can hang out with us over on Facebook.
So until next time,
Stay nerdy.